Hey guys, welcome back to Zero to Pharmacy, and I just wanted to chat a little bit about the first year. So yeah, obviously this is module 4. You've gone through selecting a site, you've gone through negotiating the lease, you've gone through building the store, you've gone through licensing the store, and now you're operating the store. But the last time that you were in a pharmacy, that wasn't yours. You were the staff pharmacist, and now your reality is totally different. Obviously, you have different priorities and things you're thinking about. Um, the last time you worked in a pharmacy, you were probably a busy store, generalizing, but could be doing 100 prescriptions a day or more. And that's the type of business, that's the type of practice you know. But the reality is this is going to be way different. You don't know, you're not going to be doing 100 prescriptions a day right away or anytime soon. The reality is you'll probably do a handful of prescriptions on your first day, and then it'll incrementally grow from there. You will likely have days of 0 prescriptions, especially if you're going to be open on Sundays or stat holidays early on. And then as the time goes on, you'll never remember the last 0 day you had. So that will subside eventually. And the thing to consider is growth is not dead flat. It's not linear. You're not going to be doing 2 a day, then 3 a day, then 5 a day, then 10 a day. It's, you might be doing 5 a day and then 3 a day and then 0 and then 10, whatever, right? You get it. So if there's a month where you're doing less than you were doing the month before, and nothing's really changed with the business, don't stress about that too much. That's just a temporary aberration, and you'll be growing month over month pretty soon, right? If May is less than April, but June, July is going to be better. So just remember that growth is not dead flat. It's definitely going to be jagged up and down. Just some qualities of the first year. You'll be doing very few prescriptions, so likely less than 20 per day for the first 12 months. I've had stores that have done more than that after a year, less than that after a year, but if you bank on doing less than 20 a day after 12 months, you won't be disappointed when you get there. You'll have weird people coming in the pharmacy, transferring the prescriptions in. This was one thing I found in almost every single store. You have a bunch of people transferring right away, and they're difficult, and they take a lot of your time, and maybe they're really price conscious, and they're not the patients that you likely remembered at the other pharmacies that you've worked at. And that's because all the cool, regular people aren't looking for a new pharmacy all the time, right? They're very loyal. They don't fuss about stuff. They're not as price conscious, and they will take a few years to change over to your pharmacy as long as you have a compelling offering for them. But the people who are ready to pull the plug on their current store and come over to you right away, there's generally, it's not because the pharmacies around them are doing something wrong. It's generally because the patients are doing something wrong and the expectations are a bit out of whack. So don't let those people get you down too much. When the next new pharmacy opens in that community, let's say 3 to 5 years down the road, they'll likely leave you at that point and go where the grass is greener, or where they think it's greener anyway. So that's just a natural process. Another one is you'll have upset competitors. So, the new pharmacies or the pharmacies around you, they're not going to like you. You'll be taking their lunch. Every one of those prescriptions that you're going to be filling in a few months is going to be a prescription out of somebody else's pharmacy. So that's normal. Don't expect that you're going to, be buddy with the guys next door, or be going out for beers with them on Friday. They likely won't like you, and they'll come up with their own reasons and probably manufacture you into something you actually aren't. But that's okay. The other thing too is you'll likely have jealous people in your life, or people that you went to school with or whatever, and that's also fine. You're not this big successful pharmacy guy quite yet, but that's what they're going to think you are, right? And that you're too cool for school, or too successful or whatever, and people are just projecting their own insecurities on you, and that's okay. The reality is you'll probably have a wash through of some people in your life, and then you'll end up getting some new people who have similar interests. Maybe they own businesses as well, or interested in the same things you are, and that's just part of growing up. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Trying to fit into, right? Like people are going to be projecting this idea on you, like you're this big successful business owner. Maybe you should be driving a Porsche or a Ferrari or something like that. But the reality is you're probably just losing money, and you're worse off than you were the previous year. So don't try to keep up with the Joneses, and don't try to fulfill people's expectations of you. Just live your own life, and keep it humble, because that's important. The other thing too is disappointed customers. People will come in your store, they'll be looking for something, and you'll have invested all the time, energy, and effort, and exciting and new customers in your store, and you want to help them out, and you don't have what they want, right? They'll be disappointed, and you'll be disappointed. Just make sure you keep a list. Make sure you correct these things. The worst thing is not having something, but not having something multiple times, right? If somebody's always coming in and looking for something, maybe that's your cue to start carrying it. So try to be flexible. You can't be everything to everybody, but if it makes sense for your store, consider offering that new product or service if people are coming in looking for it. Some things that you're going to need to do is stay resilient. There could be 80-90% of your day when you're starting out that you're just sitting there. You can only front the store so many times, and only change the price tag so many times, and only mess around with your website so many times. You just want to stay resilient. If you need to read the newspaper, read a book, watch Netflix on the dispensary computer, do it if that's what it takes to stay sane. Call a friend, like have people you can rely on, talk to about what you're going through as a business owner and entrepreneur. Get a mentor. It's important. We talked about this earlier, that mentors are going to be able to put things into perspective and keep you motivated because they've gone through something similar. Feel free to call me. I'm happy to take your call if you're in the first year of opening up your store. I genuinely mean that. There were pharmacists that took my call. That was very helpful for me early on. Focus on the long game. Don't get too caught up in the month-to-month changes. If you've grown 10% month over month, just focus on the fact that you've grown 10% month over month. Don't think about the fact that you've gone from $10,000 in sales to $11,000 in sales, and that's not enough. You need 40,000 or 50,000 to break even. You just need to focus on the long game. You're in this for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, and it will eventually pay off. It's not going to pay off next month or the month after. But just congratulate yourself on the growth, right? Like 10% month over month is great. And then that kind of brings me to the last point, focusing on the growth. So, if you grow 100% year over year, that's unreal. Congratulate yourself. And think about if the business is going to grow 100% year over year for 5 years, what is it going to look like? Don't focus on, the absolute numbers. Focus on the fact that you're better than you were the day before or the year before, and that you're going to focus on continually doing that for the long term, because that keeping yourself motivated and keeping optimistic is what's going to make your business grow at the end of the day, not getting discouraged. So thanks for tuning in to this lesson, and I'll see you at the next one.